I have been asked to share a few thoughts around a very important topic, and I believe that this topic plays a big role in who you're going to become in whatever that you do. And this particular topic is something I've been writing about and developing ideas and concepts about. And the ideas I have to share today, these are ideas that I need about 2 hours to share, and I have 30 minutes to do this before I go for my next meeting. However, I'm going to share this. And one thing I want to achieve today, Nicole has done a good job in teaching the how. If I successfully change how you perceive some things about the economy, about the society, then I've done the job I wanted to do. Because you see, how you look at life, how you look at the economy, how you look at the nation, the continent, and even the global landscape as a whole determine how far you will go in life. And talking about, I have improved the topic a bit, and I want to talk on seeing, accessing, and positioning yourself for real opportunities in the modern economy, right? Because I believe that this is one of the most important things that you need to know how to do as a young person. I have always said that everyone is talented, but opportunity is not equally distributed. Let me say it again. Every human being on earth right now is very talented, but opportunities are not equally distributed. And if you don't know this about the world, if you don't know this about the society you're in, you can be very talented and yet struggling in life. You get the point? And opportunities that will change your life do exist. And it is your responsibility to begin to do what you are supposed to do to begin to see these opportunities, to access them, and to position yourself for these opportunities. These three things are very important. For some people, they don't know how to see opportunities, right? For some people, they know how to see them, but they don't know how to position themselves for these opportunities. For other people, they don't have the courage and the boldness. They don't know the how to access these opportunities. And one time I was having a mentorship discussion with my mentees. This was just like 7 days ago or so. And I was saying that an average person would think of how good he or she is. Oh, I went to school. I have, uh, you know, um, 4 A's in advanced level. I have a first degree, a master's degree, a doctorate degree. People think in terms of that. But let me tell you, smart people, people that go far in life and they make money, create impact, and build influence, they don't only think of how good they are. No. What do? They begin to ask the question, how can I get access to the right rooms, to the right mentors, to the right capital, to the right networks, to the right information? Because if these things, if you have the right degrees and you don't begin to understand how can I get access to the right rooms, mentors, capital, networks, information, and what have you, you can be a very talented poor person. Talented but yet no impact. It's very important to get this. Because understand this, a brilliant young African without access, listen to me carefully, a brilliant young African without access, without networks, without capital, without trust, without positioning, without, this is very important, without institutional gateways. This is where many young people fail. You need to know how to get access to institutional gateways. People who don't have access to these things will always remain economically invisible. You see, over time, I did a lot of work in terms of consulting and training with a couple of embassies across Cameroon, the U.S. Embassy, Canada Embassy, Israeli Embassy, many other embassies across the country. Years ago, here's what I used to do. I went on Google and I searched for contacts of these embassies' email addresses. And every after 3 months, I will send reports of my youth programs, youth development programs I used to do in Kumbo, Bamenda, Boye, and so on. And I was not sending for a particular reason. And one time, a good number of them will reply to me. And one of them asked, "Why are you sending this to us?" And here was my reply: "I just want you to be updated on the work I do." I did that with embassies, national NGOs, and other institutions, even in Canada, United States, and so on. That was how I break through into institutions. I call it institutional gateways. So let me go back to the statement I made. My mission today is to change how you perceive the society, because the wrong perception can keep you invisible and broke at the same time. A brilliant person without access to networks, to positioning, to capital, to trust, to certain communities, and especially institutional gateways, that person will remain economically invisible in the society. And you see, these things we're talking about, they don't come to you. You have to go to them. There are some things you need to learn how to do so you can begin to attract some things into your life. And we are in a dispensation where the biggest opportunities are no longer controlled by the government. Years ago, that was a reality, right? In the years that my mother was growing up, the biggest opportunities that she had access to or she could have access to were controlled by the government or were controlled by large corporations like all companies. But there is a shift. We now have a different game happening right now. We are in a generation where somebody can just search a few words on Google or social media platform and they can DM you, and that marks the beginning of a life changing relationships, right? And Nicole was talking about, if you Google search your name right now, what will appear on that? So you need to begin to drive a different strategic plan regarding your talent, your skills, and what you know. We are now in a generation where if you understand how to harness platforms, you understand how to harness digital ecosystems, the creator economy, AI systems, remote work, different communities, different expertise, you can begin to decentralize opportunities into your life and you will have so much more that you can do for yourself. So I want to challenge you. You can be very hopeless at the same time very talented. And you can see somebody who is averagely talented but doing much more than you. The difference is the kind of access that they have. And let me tell you, many people have this lie in their mind that I can only have certain access based on maybe the kind of family you come from or who you know. That could be true. But you see, if you don't have a good last name or a good first name, and you don't have somebody who can endorse you, there are other pathways that you can begin to rise in what you're doing, and you need to take responsibility for that. I have been saying this and I will say it here again. A young African with a smartphone, with access to the internet, with communication skills, When I say communication skills, it covers writing, speaking, and things like that. Let me say it again. A young African with a smartphone, with access to the internet, with the ability to communicate, with the strong will to be consistent in what they're doing, and they understand strategic positioning, that young person will eventually begin to compete globally. Eventually. Eventually. And we need to come to a point where we begin to understand that our smartphones are now economic weapons for development. An average young person will use his or her smartphone for entertainment. But if you understand how powerful it is, you can use it and change your economic status. Because we are now in a generation where the marketplace rewards usefulness and visibility. It's a whole equation for success. Usefulness plus visibility equals to success in this generation. Right. And that visibility, that's where these opportunities come in. It is more easier right now to succeed than it was 10 years ago, than it was 20 years ago. But it is a responsibility to begin to have the right perception about what you're building, the economy where you are, the kind of industry you're part of, and what you need to start doing. If you remain an unseen young African, life will be very difficult for you because we are now in the visibility economy. So if there's one thing I want to challenge everybody here to begin to do, if you are a builder and if you have made up your mind that I don't just want to exist, I want to build, create impact and influence, listen to me carefully. You have to avoid being undocumented. You have to avoid being disconnected. You have to avoid being digitally invisible. And let me say this, posting on Facebook doesn't mean that you're practicing visibility. It is just a small part of the whole process. Because talking about seeing, recognizing, and accessing opportunities, I am telling you, if you get your media game right, you get your documentation, connections, and visibility right on social media, it will do you good. It will do you good. Right. I have had the privilege to travel 20 plus countries, 4 continents plus, and still traveling extensively. And 99.1% of these opportunities come from the media. There have been times I'm sitting in Cameroon with my friends in Bonaberi, where my house is, and we're eating plum and plantains by the roadside. And the next day, I'm talking from Germany, I'm talking from the United States, and I'm telling them sincerely, that afternoon we were standing, I did not know I was going to travel. But what happens is somebody goes on the media, on social media, on YouTube, goes on Google, and they're searching for an expert by some means of positioning, which I do my best to be good at it. They find me and they're like, hey, Dr. Joybert, this is happening in 2 days. Can you fly in 2 hours? This is your flight ticket, this is your hotel. Is that okay for you? Yes. And then the next minute, I'm gone. You see, that is because I have mastered the art of documenting, staying connected and staying visible. It is the final way to be in the right place. And when you begin to do that, this year in my mentorship program for this year, one challenge I gave the mentees for this year was I challenged them to search for the top 5 most relevant institutions in their industry. Find articles that they publish, read those articles, and submit the summaries to me. So because that's one of the things that changed my career, where I make sure that I know the biggest players in my industry. And I don't just know you by name, I know your research. I read what you publish. I understand how you channel opportunities and who you're looking for. Again, this is your responsibility. And you see, I am a young person and I've been at the forefront of youth development for close to 15 years today, right? One of the biggest problems for many young people is responsibility, because responsibility demands a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work. Because to come to the place where you become so documented, so connected, and so visible that you are now the one attracting opportunities, it takes a lot of commitment and responsibility. There are many young people that just being consistent at posting what I call industry related content on their social media pages is a big problem. It's a very big problem. In short, just to write the right content in a way that can drive a professional conversation is a big problem for many young people. But these are the same people that want the best global opportunities. So there needs to be a shift. There needs to be a shift. A young guy came to me and said he wants to do the things I'm doing. And we spoke, and I said, look, I publish on average 400 articles every year. That's average one article per day, every day. Because I am in a knowledge business, I'm in a strategic business. And that takes a lot of work and studying and reading. You can do that. You just need to pay the price and do the work I'm doing. Stop admiring what you see on social media without being willing to pay the process, to pay the price for the process. Let me say it again. This generation, it is very easy to succeed than it was 20 years ago. But there are things that you need to begin to pay the price in order to get it right. And if you are in this current dispensation and you don't yet believe and know, I did not prepare a slide because I want to talk to you guys, right? I want us to talk. Okay. If you are in this generation right now, if you are in this modern economy right now, and you don't yet know that this current economy rewards discoverability, rewards proper communication, rewards online proof of competence, you are not playing the game of this generation. It's very important because we are in a dispensation where attention has become an economic asset. I did accounting in high school and in my first degree. And one time I made a post on social media and I said that we are coming to a point where um, your social media account will be recorded as part of your current asset, which is true. Because right now, I know somebody who bought a social media page for more than 1 million francs. Why? Because attention has become an economic asset, it has become a career asset. What I'm saying is, people who know how to communicate on the media, how to teach, how to explain, how to influence, how to build trust, they possess economic leverage that an average person does not have. For example, I believe that there are so many amazing speakers and trainers in Cameroon in my age group that are very good or even better than me. But you see, there is something I have mastered that maybe they have not mastered, and that's why they are not doing the things I'm able to do. Simple as that. And there are also other guys that are doing things bigger than what I'm doing. I'm like, this guy's not something I don't know. There are things that when you know and you begin to practice them on a daily basis, on a consistent basis, you begin to build economic leverage that people in your age group will not have. And that again is your responsibility. Listen to me carefully. Let me say this because I see this a lot. Listen to me. If you're a young person, if you follow trends, you are your number one enemy. As a young person, your job is not to follow trends on social media blogs. I have no idea. I don't know how, when I see the way some people comment on different social media blogs, entertainment, lifestyle, funny blogs on social media, I don't understand the state of their mindset. I don't. You're young, you're struggling to make a career, build a business. What are you doing with social media trends? Your job is to follow industry matters. That's your responsibility because that is where the real impact, the real income is, the real money is. And it is your responsibility to begin to step out to do that. Okay? So I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you. There's something I call opportunity proximity. The more you are closer to sources of opportunity, the more you will change your life. Please begin to build opportunity proximity. And Nicole already shared a lot on the how in that area. Again, my main aim today was to just trigger a shift in how you perceive the economy and the nation, the continent, and the modern economy you're part of. Begin to see that opportunities now flow through certain communities, through certain relationships, through certain rooms and platforms, through certain conversations, through certain collaborations, through certain ecosystems. Listen to me. Isolation will kill your destiny. Isolation will kill your destiny. Isolation will kill access, will kill success for you. The more you're being open up, the more you're connecting and people are connecting to you, the more you increase your chances of success. The more new people know you, and the more you know new people, the more you increase your chances of success. So many of you, your life is like a like this, like work, church, maybe back to work, and maybe that's all. For the last 5 years, you know the same human beings, but the same you want more success. You are breaking a very important law in the journey of success. Let me say it again. The more new people you know, and the more new people know you, you increase your chances of success. Why? Because opportunities flow in certain relationships, certain rooms, communities, conversations, collaborations, ecosystems, and what have you. If you are writing, write this. Isolation will kill your destiny. Isolation will kill your destiny. Lastly, and then I'm done. Talking about accessing opportunities and these pathways, there is something I've been driving, a concept I've been driving for the last couple of years, which I call skill stacking. Skill stacking. What that means is we are in a dispensation where one skill is no longer enough. We are in a dispensation where if you are just good at one skill, you will limit your chances of getting access to more opportunities. So you need to begin to learn how to stack your skills. For example, skill stacking also goes with industry stacking. All right. What that means is if you read finance in school, and if you're good only at the financial industry, you are limiting your chances of getting access to opportunities. So you need to step further and begin to look at, okay, which other industry goes together with the financial industry that I need to begin to add to this? It could be AI, it could be software engineering. Find it. That's your job to find it. So the same, you need to learn how to begin to stack industry upon industry, skills upon skills, right? If you are, if you read marketing in school, that is good. But if you stay under with your marketing skill, you're going to limit your opportunities. Maybe you will need to start begin to see, okay, how can you merge marketing and understanding the fashion industry? You can become the number one marketing expert for fashion designers. You see that? So if you are a serious professional, you need to begin to look at how to begin to combine certain industries together. It increases so many opportunities for you. So many opportunities. You see, one thing that I've been able to always get access to um, speaking is because I have paid my dues and I'm still paying it to just read, study, right? I speak across finance, technology, leadership, strategy, and all of that, right? And one thing I pay the price to do is that I try to study industries that others think it is hard. If you're going to keep getting opportunities, find what is hard for other people and begin to study that. It increases your rarity, right? But I want to challenge you. Begin to, if you want to increase access to opportunities and to be seen and to be attracted by the right people, begin to combine that. Accounting and AI, agriculture and branding, teaching and content creation, writing and sales. You can combine different industries. It's very important. All right. So begin to do that. And I want to challenge you, please use social media beyond entertainment. Social media can be your labor market. Social media can be a university. Social media can be your distribution system. Social media can be a business environment. Social media can be your publishing infrastructure. Social media can be a global networking environment for you. It can do so much for you if you begin to do this. And I hope that today I successfully change how you perceive yourself, your career, what you're building, and the current modern economy you're part of. And because if you begin to align yourself with these things, you will change the kinds of opportunities you attract to yourself and consequently change your financial status. Thank you so much again for having me, and that is it from my end. Thank you.